Hello, I'm General Waffles of the Breakfast Brigade. Let's talk about Nova. Now, Nova is this game's ranged stealth assassin. She does one thing, and she does it very well, and that's burst damage. Everything about Nova is just focused around her taking one target down. That's all she really is good at, and that's all she can really do. But she can do it very, very well. She actually has the highest burst damage in the entire game. Now let's get started with her stats, and there are a lot of them. When you're playing a character like Nova, she's very, very squishy, doesn't really have an escape other than her passive that cloaks her, which makes her untargetable, plus makes her fairly hard to see, can be revealed in a few ways. So it's really important to really know your limits and how much damage you can do. So level 1. You're looking at health at 700, mana 500, her Q, which is a skill shot snipe that hits the first target for 146 damage. Next is her pinning shot W, which is a targeted ability that does 50 damage at level 1 with a 30% slow for 2.5 seconds. And then her E is she makes a clone. The clone starts out in stealth, but it will attack and move around and will reveal itself. The clone can actually be used for many, many different things that I will talk about later. But for now, let's look at her stats. Attack damage, 40, level 1. Pretty terrible, to be honest, for an assassin. Attack speed, 1. Pretty standard for a warrior. But her abilities shine more than her spells. But her total burst damage at level 1 that she can do almost instantly is 236 damage. Kind of pathetic. Really, in the early game, you just need to make sure that you're wandering around annoying people. Like, if there's someone low, you can finish them off. But you're not really going to be able to lane, you're not really going to be able to push minions back, and you're not really going to be able to go toe-to-toe with anyone. You can basically just be annoying. Now, looking at her stats at level 20, she's a lot more than just annoying. Health, 2,790, still pretty bad, it's to be expected. Magic, 690 mana, not that big of a deal. You don't really run into mana problems in the late game. You do in the early game a bit, just because you kind of have to spam your spells all the time, and there's not really anything for you to do. But in late game, normally when you hit your spells on somebody, they die. And then you just move on from that. Anyway, so her Q will be doing a base of 735, but when you pick up at level 1, they increase 20% damage. When you attack from cloaked, she'll be doing 882 with that. That's the number we're going to go with moving forward. Her W will be doing 240 damage with still a 30% slow for 2.5 seconds. And with this particular build, which I feel is the strongest at the time, you expect for your clones to start doing damage. And that affects their auto attack damage and their snipe damage and their pinning shots. They do not create additional clones, but that'd be kind of funny. It'd be overpowered, but it'd be funny. Anyway, that will be, each clone does 25% of whatever damage that they're pulling from. If they hit with snipe, it's 25% of snipe's damage, auto attacks, etc., etc. And you'll be getting 2 of them, so that's basically another 50% damage. Now, you will want to pick up anti-armor shells. What this does is it dramatically increases your attack damage by lowering the attack speed. And with Nova, you're all about the burst damage, so that's what you want. The other ability is that you get increased damage on your auto attacks if you use a spell beforehand. So you basically have to cycle spells, and you don't want to cycle spells. You don't want to do that. The only reason you'd ever want to do that is if everyone had block on the enemy team or something. Anyway, you'll be hitting for 575 damage a hit with a 0.4 second cooldown. There is actually a visual indicator on the gun. When you shoot, a large circle will come out, and once the circle is fully formed back into the gun, you're able to shoot again. So it's cool that they actually added that. But if you're just standing there trying to shoot at something, not moving, you will actually be able to cloak by the time you can land a second shot. Now, her ultimates, both of them, I say they're both viable in their own right. A lot of people argue that Precision Strike is the better ultimate. I don't disagree. It's really good, and in most cases, what you're going to want to go with. However, triple tap has its place. The problem with triple tap is you have to sit still for 3 seconds to channel, and the shots can be blocked by walls or towers or gates or other heroes. They can't be blocked by minions or mercenaries, but it can be mitigated in some way. It's guaranteed damage on something, but it's not necessarily your target. Now, Precision Strike, while it's not guaranteed either, there is a small window before an AoE comes down for a lot of damage in the area. At level 20, you're going to be looking at 1,000 damage without gathering power. It's pretty good if you can hit it, but there's a lot of heroes in the game that have really high mobility, such as Illidan Stormrage. People like that will very easily be able to dodge your Precision Strike, and you may not get the full effectiveness out of it. However, if you can hit on all 5 people, it will be dealing 5,000 damage in total. That's really good, if you can hit it. Of course, you also want to make sure that you're trying to combo that with other heroes. Try to work with your team. If there's Johanna, have him pull him in and then do it. Sonya, have him pick up the leap to lock him down. Zeratul pretty good with that. Alright, Precision Strike will be doing 740 damage a hit at level 20, and it'll hit 3 times for 2,220 damage. That's all well and good. Now let's check out the various totals that she has. So, just using her basic abilities, no ults, no gathering power. You just for some reason you picked up something else. I don't know what else you would have picked up. But you don't have gathering power. You have Venom or something. You'll be doing 2,545 damage in the matter of a second. This is your auto attack plus your Q, W, and assuming your clones hit all of their abilities. This is like the dream scenario. Now when you add in your ult, with triple tap you're looking at if everything hits yet again. This is over the course of 3 seconds instead of a really big burst. So it's a little bit different. 4,765 damage though, your damage output. It's really good. With Precision Strike, which is a bit quicker, and it's an AoE, we'll be doing about 3,545 damage to a single target. That's really good. However, you want to pick up Gathering Power. You need Gathering Power. Now if you have Gathering Power but you don't got it stacked up, you're looking at 2,630 damage. It's pretty good. Now if you get it all the way stacked up to an extra 15%, just your basic abilities and your auto attacks, 2,799 damage. That's really good. That can straight out kill a lot of targets. That can straight up kill another Nova. You can straight up kill Kel'Thuzad. It's really strong. If you throw the ult in on there, without Gathering Power stacked up, 4,961 damage. With it stacked up, 5,352 damage. With Precision Strike, you're looking at 3,680 without Gathering Power stacked up, and 3,949 with it fully stacked. Now, if you wanted even more damage, you can get Rewind. Rewind will move your combo up to 4,734 damage. And that's over the span of about 1 to 2 seconds. Now, if you throw your ult in there, It's where it just gets ludicrous. With triple tap, gathering power not stacked up, 6,728 damage, 7,287 damage if you have it fully stacked up and you hit everything. No one's going to survive that. No one can. Of course, since this is over 3 seconds for the last half of it, it's not guaranteed, and they can heal up. Now, with their other ult, you're looking at 5,447 without gathering power stacked up, and 5,884 damage with it fully stacked. If you're fully stacked, you can one down anyone. If they don't react fast enough, if they don't dodge, if everything hits, they don't get healed, you can kill pretty much everyone in the game in the matter of like 2 seconds to 4 seconds. Although most of the time you do want to pick up Blink because, yet again, you have no escapes. Anyway, that's enough of raw statistics. Let's talk about matchups. Matchups are really, really easy to figure out when you're playing as Nova. There are a few tricky ones that you may not expect. Now, she's really good against squishy targets. Kel'Thas, one of the best targets to ever be against. He has one escape, and it's at level 20. It's Blink. Before that, he doesn't have anything. Falstad, super squishy. Zagara, pretty squishy, and she doesn't have a lot of mobility. Jaina's pretty good. Once she hits level 13, though, you need to be careful of that ice block. It'll mess up your ultimates, especially. Vala, really squishy. Some people just are fairly squishy, and they also have a really hard time revealing Nova. They can't really deal with her. Sylvanas has only one way with her Banshees to reveal Nova. Zebo has a hell of a time trying to reveal Nova. It's almost impossible. And Lily has absolutely no way to reveal Nova at all. If Lily sees Nova, all she can do is walk around. All of her abilities are on Smartcast. Abathur is another person that Nova's generally good against. That's only because she can get behind the towers and kill him, though she can't really deal with his pushes. So it kind of depends on the play of Abathur and Nova to who's at the advantage. Now, one of them, I'll get to that in a second, actually. Now, our bad matchups are basically really tanky targets, or targets that can very easily reveal her. Tassadar, he has shields, and he has a reveal as his passive. Tyrande has an ultimate that reveals everybody, though she is squishy, so she's pretty easy to take down. Chen, horribly hard to take down. Pretty susceptible to burst damage. He's more against sustained damage, but he's just so tanky. It's hard to deal with him. Johanna. If you don't kill Johanna and she sees you, she will kill you. She can reveal you very easily with shield glare, and she will just chase you down to the ends of the earth. You're never going to kill her. Uther. Uther comes back. He also has a lot of burst healing. Malfurion. Malfurion has a lot of healing, and he keeps his team alive. He's annoying. His Moonfire has a very low cooldown and reveals you for a number of times. He revealed afterward, too. Rhaegar. One of the best burst healer in the game. With the best ability to burst heal in the game. Diablo. If he sees you, he will throw you around, and you're probably not going to whittle through his stone skin. Butcher. It's a strange one, because he's pretty squishy, but since he has an ability where he chases you to the ends of the earth, and he has so much damage, if he sees you, you're dead. He pushes one button, and you're basically you should just kind of give up. Murky. This is the one I saved, and it's a really weird one. Murky counts for stacks when you're building Gathering Power. In the early game, it's really, really, really easy to kill Murky and get the Gathering Power stacks really fast. However, in the late game, he can really be an annoyance, and you can't fully deal with Murky because he'll push, and he'll throw his pufferfish down, then you kill him, and the pufferfish still goes off, and it still pushes the lane, so you can't really deal with him. It's not really a good or bad matchup, but it can be a good matchup, or it can be a bad matchup, depending on the circumstances. Now, I mentioned that the clone has a lot of abilities. I think that this is what sets apart the good Novas from the great Novas, is how you use your clone and how you understand the different matchups with it. Now the clone, a lot of people, as you know, use it as a way to take the pressure off them and to put up another thing. A lot of people use it just strictly for damage. One of the things is that a clone does not reveal until it shoots. If you put it in a position where it won't shoot someone immediately, they can walk into a bush and it makes it a lot more likely that it's you. It's normally very obvious if a clone had just been put up. Now, clones can also block skill shots. One of the most annoying matchups is Nova versus Nova, the mirror match. And this is easily mitigated by what you want to do in the Nova versus Nova matchup is whoever can block the other one's snipe with their clone will generally win. And that's what you want to try for. There's a lot of crowd control abilities like Keltoss's little grab, where he puts you up in the air as gravity laughs, Jim Raynor's Q. Yeah, just use it to block skill shots for you or your teammates. It's really good like that. You can use it, especially in the early game, it's a good tactic, where if you're hunting somebody at low health and they're about in the middle of the lane, once they start moving back to their towers, put a clone there and the towers will start attacking it. This is also how you want to kill Abathur, is by putting your clone out, waiting for the clone to activate, and then the towers and forts will attack your clone and you're able to kill Abathur and get out without taking any damage. And also not being slowed by the turrets. Or the forts. Yeah, so it's really important to know how and when to use your clone. Also, it's worth mentioning that it will break objective channeling, like trying to take the Dragonite, even before you get the damage. When it has no damage, it'll still interrupt things like that and the treasure bay turn-in, among other things. So it's really good at just kind of generating extra pressure. Also, if you're being chased by minions, putting it out will distract them, usually. And that can save your life by being in your cloak state 3 seconds, or about 1 second faster. It could really matter. Now, one of the big things to note about Nova is that you need to pay attention to positioning always. That's a little funny clip. Dragonite knocked Johanna, who had Burning Rage on her, into me and revealed me. Anyway. Positioning is key as Nova. You don't have escapes. You need to have a plan for everything. Like, if you do something, make sure it's planned. Don't just randomly do stuff. Don't just like, I'm attack this person. No, don't do that. Are you going to kill them? How are you going to get away? Are there people nearby? You need to always be thinking about this because you're so squishy. You want to be able to set up so that you're far enough away that the enemies aren't going to see you, but you're able to stay near their squishies. If you're constantly being forced to go through their front line, you're not going to be effective. Poor Nazebo. And once you revealed yourself, make sure you don't stay there. Move to a new position before re-engaging. Try to mount up in between your engagements. It'll really help your mobility. Try to attack from different angles. Don't try the same strategy twice in a row. People will learn, people will catch on, and then people know exactly where you're going to be even though you're cloaked. Cloak, this brings me to the next play. Cloak is not stealth. Cloak is not invisibility. People can see you. If people pay attention, and at higher ranks they are paying attention, usually. Walking up to somebody or by somebody that can kill you while you're just cloaked is a horrible idea. Don't do it. They will reveal you. They will see you. Always assume that players are better than you want them to be. Always assume that your enemies are smart and capable. If you start assuming that, oh, I'm cloaked, they probably won't see, that's when they're going to see you, and that's when you're going to start dying and not doing well. Because gathering power and your burst damage is so important, dying is a pretty big deal, especially in the later game as Nova. Now, a lot of people try to say that, and by a lot of people I mean Kel'Thas mains. Fuck you, Kel'Thas. A lot of people try to say that Nova's overpowered or OP. This is a neutered state for Nova that she's in currently. She used to be a lot more insane. And that's not justification in and of itself. Justification is that she can't burst tanks. She can't burst a lot of specialists. She can burst squishy assassins. That's what she does. This is her only role in the game, is to do single target damage. Single target. She can kill one person. Snipe has a 10-second cooldown. She's not going to be spamming it. She's not going to be taking out entire teams very quickly. Her auto attacks are horrifically slow. Pushing lanes as her is nigh impossible. If there's a big push going on, you can't deal with it as Nova. You just can't. If you need to take a mercenary camp, Nova can't do that. She can't do it by herself, and she doesn't really offer that much with her team. She is a one-trick pony that does one thing, and normally when you have something like that, a one-trick pony, you better hope that they do it well, and Nova does it well. Yeah, but does that make her OP because she does the one job that she has well? No, it doesn't. I really do believe that Nova is fairly balanced in the state. Like, about as balanced as you can be without stripping away what the character is. Because when you can't burst people, you don't have anything else. That's all Nova has. Anyway, let's just take one more look at the build and look at some stats. And I think that's going to be it for this. Let's see. Not the highest hero damage, but your single target, so you shouldn't really be worried about that. Build is Ambush Snipe for the 20% more damage. Gathering Power, it's a necessity, take it. Anti-armor shells, take it, it's great. Triple tap because I had an Illidan. Lethal Decoy, decoys do damage. More decoys, really good. Rewind will make even more. Fast reload for the extra thing. Alright, that's going to be it for this video. Till next time.